Yeah, so how I've concluded that the Holy Grail is still relevant to today is that when you speak about divine truth, it permeates through the ages, and it always remains the same. There's no, discussing really about real pure divine truth. What do you think?
Well, I've been in pursuit of the Holy Grail all these years and decades, because what is the Holy Grail? For me, it's knowledge. It's knowledge of who we are, where we are, and what we're doing here. It's the big questions of how it all fits together. And so anyone who's pursuing knowledge in that way is pursuing the Holy Grail. You can symbolize it as a cup or symbolize it as you like, but in the end, it's knowledge that people are pursuing, and it's knowledge that, so we say, other forces wish to keep hidden from us.
Yeah, especially because it is timeless. So, it remains the truth, and of course, the truth cannot come out really.
Yeah, and who we are, where we are, and what the hell we're doing here is obviously timeless, because it's a question that's been asked, not by everybody, staggeringly, but by great numbers of people throughout what we call history. And it's something that people might ask, so how, after all this time, don't we really know? And that can only be answered by the fact that there are forces that don't wish us to know.
Yeah, what I find interesting as well about, for instance, the Nag Hammadi sources, they were found in the late 40s, weren't they?
They were found in 1945 in an earthen jar in Nag Hammadi in Egypt. They reckon they were probably put in that jar about 400 AD-ish. And what's extraordinary about them, certainly from my point of view, I came across them a long time ago, is that they talk about a force, a consciousness, which they call Yaldabaoth, and the creation by Yaldabaoth of what the Gnostics called archons, Greek for rulers, and how archons can take form. This is from writings from like 400 AD or before.
Well, this is why it's so interesting.
That they said these archons can take form, and when they do, it's primarily a serpentine form, and like a grey fetus with big black eyes. Well, that's classic greys. And so, and they also talk about the fact that this Yaldabaoth consciousness created a bad copy of prime reality. That's what I'm calling the simulation. So, it's amazing how these ancients, if you look at them and their symbolic language, are actually telling a truth that's very, very here and now.
Very here and now. That's what, and this is what I love, that in these films, a lot about the Nag Hammadi is coming out, and it is shown how incredibly applicable it is to today. Okay, the messages of hope, I guess, is that the Holy Grail, if you see it as, you say it's the seeking of knowledge, the way I kind of see it is that we are a Grail, and that if we are going back to that state of being a Grail, in other words, we're connected to Source, this bit being open, and our vessel is receiving enough, so we're not too programmed or too much stuck in an illusion of what we think we are, but we are able to sort of suspend all that and just allow ourselves to be an empty funnel or channel. Then the message of hope would be that this knowledge can flow through us into the experience that we're in, into this current incarnation that we're in, and that should lead to freedom, hopefully, for humanity.
I think if we connect with realities, frequencies, dimensions, whatever you want to call them, beyond this one, then the chances are we're going to become more knowledgeable, more what's called enlightened, and more aware of actually what we're experiencing. My perspective over the years has been that we are systematically, perceptually manipulated to hold us in five-sense reality at the exclusion of expanded states of awareness. It's the only way that you can control people is if you hold them in that low state of not just reality, but self-identity. And the pursuit of what's called this Grail is the pursuit in so many ways of making that connection. And once you do, once it starts, you're never the same again, because suddenly you're accessing levels of insight, awareness, perception that you didn't before. And this is what's happening to so many people in the world now.
A lot of them.
The pursuit of the Grail is becoming reality in the lives of ever greater numbers of people. And this is why, you know, Ickonic is such a special organization, operation. It's because we are making that journey with everyone else and pushing the cutting edge. And this film is just a reminder that the pursuit that we're on now is a long, long historical pursuit. And so many people who have sought this knowledge, shall we say, left this world earlier than expected. Because people like the Roman Church, of course, who really focused on the Gnostics and the expression of the Gnostics called the Cathars and destroyed them, at least physically, they have always tried to suppress this knowledge and its content. And the fact that it's starting to appear now in the minds of more and more people, it's very, very encouraging.
I would agree with that. Acting-wise, I've got a bit of a background in acting, so for me it was all right. But I was surprised, for instance, how well you did in it, to be honest. A little bit too well, actually. I was like, you've missed your career.
Well,
the real career. No, forget about changing the world. I mean, who wants to do that and be ridiculed for 32 years? You know, you should have just.
Yeah, but if you can't act yourself, who the hell can you act? I mean, you know, I acted myself. I acted myself in a situation that, you know, needed to be, a little bit fictional, but no, I was playing myself. So I weren't acting really.
And you've done it before, haven't you?
What, acted?
Yes.
Yeah, all the time.
You've played yourself before, haven't you, in another series or something, or a film?
I have acted a bit, yeah, here and there. I did method acting once. You call it method acting.
Yeah,
when you make it up as you go along.
Emotional memory. Yeah, no, you tap in on an emotional memory. That's method acting, and you use the energy of, or the emotion that was evoked in that experience, and you apply that in.
I didn't do method acting then. No, I was in this television drama where you basically were told what the scene basically was, and then you made your own script up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy that, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, the script was a bit long though, knowing me, you know.
Improvising is fun, I find.
Yeah, that's what it's called, improvising.
Oh, that's what you were doing?
Oh yeah, it wasn't method acting.
Gosh. All right.
Shows what I know.
Oh, walking library, that's all. I think the qualities it will add to our esoteric collection at Ickonic is that the intention of Ickonic is really, if you look at it, you know, on what is it really about, is we want freedom, true freedom for humanity. And this just adds to, you know, offering another part of the puzzle towards eternal freedom.
Yeah, I think Ickonic becomes more important every day. I have watched the alternative media, or not all of it, but significant parts of it, in the COVID era, move more towards the mainstream because a lot of people have come into it, and great, you know, round of applause, who have focused on, oh, it's the jab, or it's this or that and the other, and they've seen that. But they still bring with them all their other mainstream beliefs, which are as implausible, shall we say, as what people believed about, quote, COVID, which we now kind of are having confirmed. And it's so important that we in the alternative media don't move towards the mainstream, but move more and more further and further away from it. Why? Because the Grail is part of this kind of theme, in that we need to constantly pursue the cutting edge.
Yes.
The cutting edge of knowledge, the cutting edge of understanding. And if you don't do that, then you get caught in little alcoves or little eddies in the river, and you go round and round and round and just repeat the same stuff. And the idea that there's not always more to know. I mean, the one thing that you can say without question, without fear of any contradiction, is this: whatever we know, whatever we think we know, there's always more to know, like endlessly. And so what Ickonic is here for is to constantly pursue that cutting edge. So you've got the range of the news shows, and then you've got the documentaries, the films like the Holy Grail here, which together are asking the question, who are we, where are we, what are we doing here? And the answer to that question is not something that just, okay, this is it. It's a process, an ongoing, unfolding understanding. And so these films are part of the unfolding understanding, which Ickonic is pursuing all the time.
Yes. And also, you know, with regards to productions, you know, it's so easy to fall into a formula with these things. And you do see that a little bit in other alternative media. They were first sort of renegades, and then they start following a certain formula that works in the mainstream. And this is one thing I always do when I make a film, is I'm completely not generally not even looking much at other people's work, because I want to stay as authentic as I can be without falling into that pattern.
And let's hope people think you've succeeded, because it's been a long, long shoot over a long period of time, and you know, this is a major production we're looking at. So we're asked the question, what do we hope or wish the viewer of the films take from him? Well, that's basically where I've been coming from all this time, and where Ickonic's coming from. It is, you make of it whatever you uniquely choose to make of it. We don't make films and do shows to tell people what to make of it, tell people what to think. Here's this is what you should think. It's about putting information in front of people and then saying to them, what do you think? Because you will have a unique view, and having that unique view is what makes you different from everyone else. So whatever people get from it, we're delighted they get from it.
Yeah, because one thing you do really see is when people start to awaken, that they feel the need for a teacher. And that's all fine, because, you know, we need guides and teachers and examples and things like that. But a lot of the time, the trap after an awakening is that you start following someone. And it could be an alternative media channel, or it could be a person or whatever. But I think it's really, really vital that you keep on seeing it as a station that you've stopped at, and you see what you resonate with, and see what sticks, and keep journeying.
Yeah, I mean, Ickonic's mission is very simple: to constantly pursue the cutting edge, and to constantly respect whatever the viewer makes of what's put before them. It's very simple and massively effective.